Guys, it's the Anime Fan, and today I'm going to be showing you how to upgrade a 2013 through 17 MacBook Air or 13 through 15 MacBook Pro. Today I'm going to be using this adapter I picked up from Micro Center, a 960 EVO NVMe SSD. The SSD has to be NVMe, cannot be SATA based. And you'll need a backup of what's on your computer and some bootable media for macOS. I will link in the description how you will do both of those. So let's get started. First, you're going to need to open up the bottom of the case. I'm going to be using my iFixit ProTech toolkit. So you just need to open up all 8 screws. The 2 at the back of the computer back here and here are different sizes than the rest of the computer. So just make sure that you keep those separate, and the lid, just keep them separate like that. And they are very tiny screws, so don't let them fall on the floor like I just did. One last screw. All right, so once you have all screws out, go from the back and it'll just pop off like that, and you will be inside the computer. The SSD is going to be right here on this side, but first we need to disconnect the battery from the computer before we do anything else. So just pull up this tab right here, and this connector right here is going to be the battery connector. Now make sure you're using an iFixit toolkit, plastic tools to pry up the connector. So just make sure, come in here on either end and just lift up on it until it comes out like so. And then just fold it back like that to make sure it doesn't accidentally reconnect. Next, we're going to take out the SSD, which is a different size screw than the bottom of the case. See, like that doesn't work. That's the right size there. I will leave in the description the 2 different types of screws you have to have. So just pull that up a little bit, pull it out like so. Next, we're going to open up the adapter. Which it looks like they include a new M.2 screw, but we're just going to be using Apple's, and then here is the adapter. Get your NVMe drive. Again, make sure it's NVMe. This is a 500 gig. So just take your adapter as it would be in the computer, and then just stick these 2 together like so. Come in here, pop that in, aligns perfectly as you can see, and then grab the new screw or the screw that Apple had, doesn't really matter. Both will work. And that's it. The SSD is now upgraded. So all we need to do now is just reconnect the battery connector, place this back down, and we are done inside the computer. Now to place the panel back on, line it up and push right here until you hear those 2 clicks. That's how you know it's placed back in. And then start placing your screws back in, remembering that these 2 here and here are different sizes than the rest of them. Making sure they're aligned properly. And then place the rest of them in. Try not to drop anything. If you hear any popping sounds, you shouldn't be alarmed unless you know that you got the back panel connected all the way. Just try not to tighten the screws down too much. You don't want to over tighten them or strip them out. These will be very difficult to find. Sorry about the watch making noises. And one more screw. Sorry, missed that I had already put a screw there. And we're done with the inside of the computer, so you can put the tools away. And now we just need to actually open the computer. Now, because there's no operating system on this, we need to insert our thumb drive, which has macOS on it, press power, and hold Option. You can see it detected the installation media right away. It says install macOS Catalina. So that's what we're going to be doing. Now we're just going to let macOS go ahead and install, and I'll be right back. All right, so now that the computer has booted back up, we want to open Disk Utility so we can format the new drive. You're going to want to go to your internal disk, erase. You're going to want it to be APFS, call it macOS, and click Erase. The erase is now complete, and so we need to close Disk Utility, and then we're going to restore from a Time Machine backup. Click Continue. This is the drive I have plugged in. Click my backup from this morning, macOS, erase disk, and I will be back when this is complete. Now, unfortunately, because my backup drive is actually a hard drive, I would recommend getting an SSD because this process is going to take almost 2 hours because my backup was 56 gigabytes. Yes, it may be a nice drive because it's Porsche design, but it's still very slow. So If you're going to do this, I'd make sure you have something like a Samsung T5 SSD. Finally, just about an hour later, it looks like the restore is about to finish up and we will be on our way. The restore has now complete, so the restart will happen in 5 seconds. So the Mac will restart, and then we will have our operating system and all of our files from the old SSD. And the computer has restarted and we are back in business. So I now need to log in with my Apple ID. Just got the verification code on my iCloud. Just signing everything back into my Mac now. Looks like it now just asks you to set up Firebolt. For this case, I will not be using Firebolt. And now it looks like it's just finishing up setup and we will be done with the process very shortly. And here we are. These are all of my files that I had on here before. All applications are here. All files are here. Except now you can see Macintosh HD is 500 gigs. It's just going through and verifying all of the apps, but that is completely normal. As soon as this is done, I would just like to go ahead and run a sleep test and a restart test just to make sure that everything works as it should. So we're going to go ahead and restart. So you can see it just restarted successfully without any issues. We are back into macOS. It just restarted. We'll now go ahead and run a sleep test so you can see that it's 4:24 p.m. So I'm just going to close the lid and we'll be back at 4:30. All right, so you can see now that it's 4:34, decided to go ahead and give it a full 10-minute sleep. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what happens. Just unlocked with my Apple Watch, and it looks like it woke up from its sleep perfectly fine. So I would say I would call this a success. Leave a comment if you liked the video, if it helped you out. Leave a like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.